If they say, please don't use that, then don't. All right? It's our way of caring for each other. Now, over the top of that, we're going to put just a little bit of fresh lime. And the fresh lime is just about a quarter. And it needs to be a quarter size because this is... There we go. I need my son-in-law to sharpen my knife. He's wonderful at sharpening a knife. His name is Scott. Okay, so we'll just squeeze in that quarter over to the top there. And now place in some tonic water. Now, you might have noticed that there are some people nowadays who are not too happy about corn syrup. And that's really more to do with the fact that it's a sweet soda. And really, whatever sweetens the soda is probably not such a good idea anyway, because sweetened sodas taken a lot of can gain weight, etc. And it's not too good for diabetics. So there are some tonic waters where you can get this from cane sugar. And this is quite an expensive one. Tastes very good. It's quinine that gets in with the tonic. This is typical one that you'll be able to find this in any place you shop. This you may find occasionally. It's especially in food co-ops, etc. And it's very good because it's the right size. It's 8 ounces. And I'm all into portions. I don't think there's anything that's bad about food or good necessarily. I think it's all about portion sizes. And this one has got cane sugar in it, and this has 80 calories for the little container, 8 ounces. So that is added to the pink and to the lime over the ice. And then we can add this just spray of fresh mint to that. Okay. Just pop that into that. So you get that fragrance of mint. Now, here we go. You see, taste. Sweet, sour, lime, bitter, the pink bitters, they're called bitters, and the fragrance of the mint at the same time. And then the texture comes from the bubbles if it's nice and cold. So, that is so good, honestly, really very good. So that's the drink. All right, so let's go to the next level. I am deeply committed to the idea of measuring. As I've said, it's all about portion size. If we can agree to that, then it means that I don't have to say to you, don't eat this, right? And do eat that. I can say anything is possible. The best ice cream, butter, cheese, bacon, everything that, providing you're not vegan or vegetarian, everything is possible. It's just finding out the amount you need personally to bring your love affair with food into a smaller space, and then take from an array of food out there somewhere and bring that food in and put it in the place where the food has shrunk a bit and add it to it. It's an automatic upgrade if you're only dealing with your personal preferences for food. Not what somebody tells you to eat, but your personal preferences. Okay, so I like sweet potato. And if you like sweet potato, fine. I can show you there are many other things. What I want to do with this one is to show you this has beta carotene in it, it's vitamin A, it's full. It is the king of all root vegetables. It's really excellent. So what I want for this one, I want to be able to have about 1 pound of weight. And I looked at this, and after a while, you can have a pair of scales like this and should have a pair of scales. If you're going to measure things, a good pair of scales is important. So I dropped that on there, and that's about 13.5 ounces. Now I'm going to peel this So I'm going to lose some of that. So I've done a little bit of preparation before because I want exactly 1 pound to be able to go on the dish. Come down the counter a bit. Nowadays, there's a fascinating thing beginning to happen. That is in supermarkets, really nice supermarkets that love you a lot and want to get you coming back. They're doing the prep work for, by the way, hey, come on. I'm chattering away like this. If you've got questions, all you have to do is send your questions in, and I will stop in my tracks and try and remember what on earth I was doing, which is fine. I really want this to be interactive, and I just don't want me to have to go blah, 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 blah. Anybody would think I was running for some public office. So, okay, so here we go. What I wanted to explain is this. When you go to the store nowadays, you can get a plastic wrapped thing of sweet potatoes, and they're cut nicely in chunks, and you say to yourself, oh, that's so good because I don't have to peel anything and I don't have to chop anything. Hello? Do you know a few years ago, everybody peeled things and everybody chopped things, and it's now we're so limp that we can't even peel and chop something. And you very seldom see anybody on television peeling anything. There's no time. You know what, the programs that you may have been seeing leading up to this that I've done over the years, I had to finish that program plus or minus 15 seconds. And every single move, although I looked a bit erratic sometimes, everything was known. Everything was timed out perfectly so that I would be able to be not rushed, but at the same time, there was that sense of, I've got to get this done. And if that's taking more time than I thought that it was going to take, then and my brain would be going on a time basis all the time. Guess what? On Twitch, you don't have to bother. The only thing you bother about is whether you will go off and miss something. And so I can't do anything about that. All I can do is stay here and have fun for as long as I can stand up. This is amazing. I can't tell you what it feels like. All right, so I peeled that. It's not perfect. There are little bits of dots here and there, but as you'll see what we do with this one, that doesn't matter. But that, in talking to you, took me about 1.5 minutes to scrape. And that's the reason why on programs you don't have too many people spending time scraping something. So you don't have people to see. By the way, this is my pre-compost heap. My compost heap is in a little garden that I've got just attached to the house. And this with a carbon filter in the top here, which stops it smelling bad. So I just keep all my vegetable trimmings in this one and then put it out into the garbage. And the garbage is very nourishing. It's just perfect. So that's what I always do with the trimming. Now, you remember I told you I did a certain amount beforehand? I wanted just on 1 pound. So let's cut this. You might notice that chefs on television have really nice knives that are nice and sharp. This is largely because we're usually given them. And the knife manufacturers have a way of trying to do something to make sure that you would know that it's their knife. And this comes from Germany, and it's a beautiful, beautiful knife for which I'm very proud, and I enjoy using them. Now, to cut up a thing like this needs a fairly large knife so that you can anchor it down on one side like that and simply split. And then split again. So this is about $108 to buy this one. And this one, which is almost the same size and almost the same sharpness, comes from Brazil. And this is just under $20, right? Plastic handle, nothing much to go in. This is a typical one that can be used in the industry. And it also cuts just fine. So I want to cut then into handsome chunks. Doesn't really matter, as you'll see, because it's coming into a puree in the end. But so that works well. So if you're ever tempted to say, it's hard labor to scrape things, then get a scraper and get a knife which at $20. And before, you've made up the difference between what would otherwise be raw vegetables cut up, and that's it. Have you got a question for me?
Yes, Greg.
Oh, I have a question. Thank you. Hello.